Bankuli, how you day, brother? Oshegon Bankuli. Oshe brother me. How you day? How are you doing? All right, special um announcement just before I go live and discuss this very serious topic. I appreciate everyone, especially on TikTok earlier on today. Um, I got quite a lot of stars. I said stars. I didn't get quite a lot of stars. Instead, I got quite a lot of money guns on TikTok. And I'm really happy to be with you guys. And I'm really happy for all the love you guys showed me. Thank you all so very much. Um, you are all appreciated. Okay? So once again, if you're watching on TikTok, um, send me money guns. My top gifters, I'm going to follow, and I'm going to announce to the public to follow them. So big shout out to whoever's going to end up becoming my top gifters on TikTok. So a big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I turned 47 today, and it's been quite an awesome journey, an awesome experience, and being with you guys also is really great. So let us talk about the topic of the day: Queen Camilla, hope for divorcees and side chicks. Hmm. Someone even said adulterers. You see, there are many messages in um, today's coronation, especially for the real winner, who is Camilla, more than Charles. And there are conversations I want us to have. I want us to take a look at our value system. I want us to take a look at our parents' value system. I want us to look at this particular issue critically. Um, I want us to be honest with one another. Okay? Let me tell you the story. Hello, Ada. Let me tell you the story of Camilla from my understanding. If I'm wrong, if you're British and you know the story better than I do, please feel free to correct me. Ada, my darling, thank you so much for the credit you sent me. I'm so happy. Oh, I'm happy to have people who grew under me, especially people who are already growing by themselves. And I'm happy to see them do so well. Now, let's talk about my understanding of the Camilla Charles situation. And you guys need to listen to this, yeah? Camilla was the lady Charles loved from his youth. That was his crush. That was the lady that he actually wanted to spend the rest of his life with. The queen wasn't having it for whatever reason. They wanted to choose someone else for him, someone they considered more befitting. So they chose Diana, which was way more beautiful than Camilla. But remember, it wasn't Charles' choice. Initially, she wasn't married. From my understanding, I may be wrong, Sean. You live in UK, so you can correct me. Um, Initially, Camilla wasn't married. It was she went on to marry when she saw that there was no hope with Charles. So I think initially, guys, correct me, British people, correct me. Charles wanted to marry Camilla. From the documentaries I watched and from what I gathered, Charles wanted to marry Camilla, but he couldn't. So the family forced Diana on him. Now, let me tell you something here. You need to understand that. You need to understand that people are different. Although I personally see Diana as more beautiful than Camilla, I also see Diana as more stubborn. Some men would rather have a woman that listens to them than a woman that is beautiful. Let's discuss personal preference. Diana was brought to breed. We understand that. But we also need to understand the guy involved is Charles. Charles has always been a shy guy. He has never been the one to take a bull by the horn. He always wanted to be in the backdrop, and being in the backdrop, he still wanted to shine a little bit in that backdrop where he was. Diana was more visible than even the queen. At the highlight of Diana's life, she was competing for stardom with the queen, not Charles. Charles was forgotten somewhere. Not every man wants that. Not every man wants a woman that would compete with him. Not every man wants a woman that is so beautiful that would give you stress in your marriage. Am I connecting? So Camilla went on to get married to somebody else. Her heart was not in the marriage. And Charles went on to marry Diana. His heart was not in the marriage. Somebody just is saying, why not? People are different. You need, just the way some people like power bikes, and men that are watching me here, do you like power bikes? Right, yes or no? Will you use your money to buy a power bike? I would. Would you? If your answer is yes, don't judge who wouldn't. And if your answer is no, don't judge me. Alaji says no. One person yes, two no, two yes, two no, three no, three yes. Why do I not own a bike? I can ride quite well. My mother would just not allow me to own a bike. And it's one of the compromises I've just decided to make, that okay, let this woman just live long. But someone said never. But you see, that's the thing. Just as some people don't like the thrill or can't be bothered with the thrill of a powerful motorcycle, some people can't be bothered with the thrill of a woman that is shining everywhere. They don't want it. It's, to be honest, it is not easy to be Rihanna's husband. It is stress. Don't think it's fun. It is stress. Let me warn you. You are not going to be able to see your wife, especially if you have a career. You are not going to be able to see your wife unless you decide to follow her on tour. Now, when you are following her on tour, she's going to do rehearsals. She's going to have to deal with things. Even though you are with her in the same location, you might not spend more than an hour or two with her a day, because she has to attend to things. She has to sleep. And let me tell you, when they say she sleeps, you cannot be disturbing her. That sleep, they have to give her the sleep. So it's not everybody that can deal with that stress. Someone said, I've seen accidents caused by bikes in the hospital. They are terrifying. Doesn't mean people don't like them. And those who don't like them are not bad people. They just don't like them. So most people will tell you, don't stop your woman from shining, blah, 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 blah. Some people can't deal with that level of shine. Some people can't deal with it. And in fairness to Diana, may her soul rest in peace, she was also slightly mischievous about it. She knew that Charles didn't like it, and she still went on, which I still don't blame her for, because Charles wasn't giving her attention and he was cheating on her. So you need to understand what you like. Let me tell you something here. If you have a career and you marry somebody like Rihanna, 3 months you no go see him. You go to talk to him for phone. That phone said na 5 minutes. 3 months you no go see him at that level. You don't go see him now because she's going to Texas. From Texas, she's going to South Africa. From South Africa, she's going to go to Kenya. From Kenya, she's going to go here. She's going to go here. Someone says you are just taking sides without considering both sides. Since I'm taking sides, let me just remove you from my life, please. Some people say I don't tolerate other people's opinions. Please, I don't. I don't have power. I don't have power. You are not giving an opinion. You are judging me already. If you're watching on TikTok, please give me gifts. Big shout out to anybody. My top gifters, whoever is my top gifter. Armstrong Kennedy is my top gifter now. Guys, follow Armstrong Kennedy. Follow my top gifters, and please do send me some money guns. I'll really appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, please send me stars. Go to Facebook, search for Daddy Freeze. Scroll down to today's video. Bottom left hand corner on today's video, you will see how to buy stars. So let's continue with the conversation. A lot of people don't get it, but what people want in their car, in their wife. You see, I cannot choose for my children, but I can choose for myself. I'll give you an example. I cannot choose my child's career. I can give birth to a child who wants to be an astronaut. I can't choose. As long as he's able to pass the exam and get the admission, you understand. But I can choose for myself, meaning I wouldn't want to date an astronaut personally, because part of the role of my wife, by my understanding, is to be my companion. How can she be my companion when for 2 years she's in outer space? All that, let woman shine, let woman shine, let woman shine. Guys, part of the message is marry a woman that if you want her to shine, there's a certain level of shine she will shine. She will not have your time. If you are looking for shine, go ahead. If you are looking for time, you will have to compromise on the shine a bit too. You will have to compromise. Me, when I'm looking for a wife, I am looking for a companion. You can't be my companion if you are Rihanna. It is not possible. You can be my wife, but you won't be my companion. Because as long as I'm spending 1 month alone by myself every other month, where is the companionship in the marriage? Let's have honest conversations. This was the silliness that led us to where we are today. Let's have honest conversations. If you are supposed to be my companion, but I'm with you in January for 2 weeks, then I'm not with you again till March. So only me go to sit down, they watch Netflix. Only me go to sit down, they chop by myself. Only me go. It's not a marriage I want. Some people can handle it, especially if I was a surgeon. I work 16 hours a day shifts. I'm sunken in my career. I'll just time my 2 weeks to coincide with your own 2 weeks that you are free in 3 months. We are good. Some people are not looking for that clingy companionship. Some people don't care about it. What some people care about is being a power couple. Me, I'm controlling this sector. My wife is controlling this sector. If that's what you're looking for, marry according to that. I'm warning you guys. Don't take somebody else. Forget spec. Forget intercourse preferences. Companionship is very key in marriage. Kevin Ogun says, Kevin Oguns, what do you care? What don't you care about? You don't care about companionship, or you don't care about your woman shining? Someone said, what of people in a long distance marriage? I will never be in a long distance. If you see me in a long distance marriage, just know say na condition I ain't bend the crayfish. People in long distance marriages, na condition bend their crayfish. You see, in Nigeria, we are used to suffering. That is why you even make a case for a long distance marriage. One of the most stupid things in the world. What is a long distance marriage? I understand a long distance boyfriend, girlfriend. What is a long distance marriage? Now poverty they cause them. Now poverty they cause long distance. Let's not talk about poverty things. Please, let's keep poverty and poverty mentality out of here. There's nothing more stupid than a long distance marriage. It's the height of foolishness. Why are you in a marriage? Now poverty they cause them. Nobody marries to be in a long distance marriage. Now poverty. A German will not marry a woman and be in a long distance marriage with her. Why is he marrying somebody in the US? Unless, for instance, you guys met on holiday. She came to Venice for holiday. You also left Germany and came to, and you guys met and connected. But then you have you can't just sever the ties. He's working in Germany as an accountant. She is working in the US as a doctor. She can't just pack her load and come to Germany, and you can't just pack your load and go to the US. So that time to adjust. But the two of you, they Nigeria. Una marry one person, jack by you. Una come the talks in a long distance. Now poverty. That one na poverty, they worry you. Because the two of you don't have enough money to relocate together. One person get visa, the other person not get. No, we know they use poverty to take the console ourselves. Somebody says, but Daddy Free, some jobs can affect it too. Let's have a conversation about those jobs. When you want to get married, this is marriage counseling I'm doing for you. Put your cards on the table. Ask your wife, what does she want? What are her aspirations? Before una start to date, go far. What are your aspirations? If you meet a woman whose aspirations are, I want to be a wife and a mother, and I want to be a teacher, or I want to have one of those careers that gives me time for my family. Some average Nigerian men will not want that, because what you are looking for is a hustler. Let's hustle together. Let's go and bring this money together. Baba, na poverty they cause am. Let me break your heart. In France, nobody wants all those big careers. No, they just want to go to work and spend time with their family. Family time is everything. Someone says military. What is going to make me open my eye and say a soldier I want marry? Are they mad? Someone says, for someone like Miss Sokonjo, DG World Trade Organization, I doubt if she has time for cleanliness. I don't want my wife to be Director General of the World Bank. I'm not saying it's not a prestigious title. I wouldn't mind my mother being it, and I would not mind my daughter being it, but I don't want my wife to be it. Because part of what I want from a wife is companionship. Our parents could handle it, because poverty and poverty mentality follow them plenty. All they thought of was career, leave name. If you go to Europe, to Netherlands, to France, to Germany, the average man does not want to leave a name. What's his business with living a name? He wants to live a good life. He wants to go to work, come home, go to the park, go and watch a movie. Someone said those aspirations change over time. Then we have to reevaluate our situation. Are we continuing what we are doing? When you marry an Oyinbo, their aspirations don't change. The Nigerian man, they get plenty aspiration. Let's talk. We don't like being honest with each other. My problem with you is you follow too many motivational, not motivational, motivational speakers. So They tell you can have everything. It is impossible. It is impossible. You can never have the performance of a Ferrari combined with the roominess of a Range Rover, combined with the price of a Kia. It is impossible. You can't have all. One or two of the factors would have to give way. Something's got to give. Now, I need to tell you something here. Unlike you guys that are fully African, I'm not fully African. So I don't have this Nigerian. My father was a career from morning till night. My mother too was a career from morning till night. I never wanted that kind of life. I knew people who lived in Ibadan that would close at 4 o'clock and go to recreation club. And from the recreation club, they'll go there, drink, get drunk, go home, chill. Their wives will be there, children will be swimming. That's the kind of life I wanted. Is one of the reasons why I said I wasn't going to be a doctor. I looked at my father's life. I'm like, no freaking way. I ain't doing this. So let's have this conversation. A lot of you are going to get into relationships, and those relationships are going to end. Some of you are on your way to getting into them right now. Some of you are already engaged. Those relationships will not last if you are looking for different things. Now, let me tell you how you men calculate it. I will marry that DG or that Rihanna or that star that I want to marry. And then I will have a side chick to fill in the space of companionship. Men do it. The average man wants his wife to be a power couple with him. But you see, that power couple will not go get time for each other. So they just assign that time to a side chick. It was very easy during our father's times. Because that woman will be that power woman would still want to be in a marriage. So she will not leave you. Today, woman will leave you, collect everything where you get to. You cannot cheat in today's marriages. So going into a marriage believing you can eat out of both cakes, let me warn you, now recipe for disaster. If you like companionship, no go marry star. If you like star, no go marry companionship. Because companionship, person will go be companion and normal work that they do like teacher. No self, no follow. Because most nurses want to work long hours. Now work like teacher. You cannot do truck driver if you want companionship. Let me warn you, there's no cheating in today's relationships. Women are not tolerant of it. My father married a second wife. My mother stayed with him. No woman will stay with you if you marry second wife. You will be there with a seed, with a seed. You will na case study. Am I connecting with you guys? This is a very, very vital part of this conversation, and most of you are missing out on it. I need us to talk. Whatever it is you are looking for in a relationship, make sure your partner is also looking for those things. Normal us when we're growing up, and I had to change that mentality. Normal me when I was growing up, I wanted to have a wife that, oh my God, they say, oh, who's that? That's my wife. But I also I love that companionship. So I just believe that I will outsource the companionship. Anytime she's busy, there'll always be somebody on the side. Baba, it cannot work in this dispensation. You cannot get a wife and a side chick unless you are Dangote and your wife is married to you for your money and your side chick is there for your money, that you are a normal guy where they hustle. So at the time where you want to keep, especially if you live abroad, so at the time where you want to clean your children or do their homework or carry them to school, now you go get time to run around after woman. The reason why many of you have side chicks in Nigeria is because you have house girl, you have driver. The moment you are doing the work, you can't have side chick. And if you try it and the woman finds out, you are on the road with your luggage on your head. Let me break the bad news to you. Make it not be like say you go hear them later from another place. If you are watching on TikTok, please follow my top gifters and send me money guns. If you're watching on Facebook, please send me stars. If you're enjoying this live, please send me stars. So let me continue now. So first things first, Charles and Diana did not get along. Diana was fashionable. She wanted fashion. She enjoyed the bright life. Charles wanted to hunt foxes. He wanted to ride a horse. He shared similar passions with Camilla. Once again, do you enjoy what you do in your spare time? I'll give you an example. I was in a relationship once with somebody who loved Owambe parties. I despise Owambe parties. It's not like I can't attend an Owambe party, but personally, I despise Owambe parties. I can't attend more than maybe one in 3 or 4 months. I can even do club, I can do events, but that party, that wedding, stresses me. Funeral, I can't deal. So we're already ill-matched. It's a problem. Where you want to spend your Saturdays and where I want to spend my Saturdays are two different things. A very big shout out to Aggie. Aggie just sent me a money gun. Thank you so much, Aggie. God bless you. Guys, follow Aggie on TikTok. Guys, follow Aggie. Aggie is my top gifter right now. Follow Aggie on TikTok. Guys, follow my top gifters. So, the first thing is, what are you looking for in a partner or in a marriage? Number one, most important. Number two, for instance, now I want a companion and I found a companion in my wife. But in the companionship, my wife wants to fish and me, I want to skydive. It's either we find a way of blending both or we get into trouble. My wife wants to spend time with me, but she wants us to go wine tasting. I don't like wine. I want to watch football. She doesn't like football. So we have time. We are each other's companions, but we are ill-matched when it comes to passions. You cannot be 100% with anyone. I love cars. I love watches. Taste buds likes food and she likes exercise. We have to find a way of blending these so that even though we are each other's companions, we also have to be able to spend time enjoying the companionship so that one person is not, oh, we are companions. Oh, my wife watches every Arsenal game with me. Does she watch every Arsenal game with you so that there can be peace, or does she really like Arsenal? You need to ask yourselves. So the third thing, which is the most important, is the value of parental consent and support. You see, according to biblical times, it was fathers that helped their children get their spouses. That is what it was like during biblical times. It was a patriarchal society. Women were like merchandise. How do I put it? So that society is different now. Women have rights. Women are counted. Women vote. Women are in positions of leadership. So your parents now cannot choose who you're going to marry for you, because your marriage is your greatest career choice. And I say this to people all the time. When God was showing you your future, and a lot of people don't understand how God speaks. Many of them expect God to come and talk to them in Hausa. Sadly, it's never going to work like that. God is going to guide you into a future that your parents might struggle with understanding. So their values are going to end up being different from your values. What my mother values and what I value are two totally different things. I'll give you an example. My mother values education, Western education. I personally feel Western education is way overrated. I personally feel Western education is part of what keeps you in the matrix. You are educated to be a worker. You are not educated to become Rihanna. You go to school so you can get a job. That's what I believe school was designed for. And from an early age, I cut myself out of the system as much as possible. So, what my mother values and what I value are two different things. I value knowledge, but I don't believe I have to go to school to get it. I can get it on the internet. I can get it by having conversations. I can get it by putting myself in a place, in a strategic place. My father, on the other hand, what he values is his mosque, because he's Muslim, and the families and how he values those families that come together and do mosque things. That's of no value to me, of absolutely no value. So if I allowed my father to pick a wife for me, or if I allowed my mother to pick a wife for me, I'll end up being unhappy because we don't share the same values. We don't have the same value system. When God was showing me my path, he did not make it a conference call and gather my father and my mother and say, this is where your son is going. Throughout my university, I struggled with trying to explain to my parents that where people are going, I don't have any value for it. This is what I want to do with my life. And they couldn't understand it. It was a struggle. It was easier for my mom. It was impossible with my dad. It was hard with my mom. But I was able to eventually get her to understand. With my dad, he just could not get it. He couldn't understand what I wanted to do with my life. So when your parents pick spouses for you, and now this happens with very traditional families and very wealthy families. Listen, wealth that people are seeing is sometimes a curse. My papa get land for Ikoyi, he get house for Lekki, he get high rise for Banana Island. Sometimes not problem. Because there is a level of wealth your parents would impose on you, or they'll be doing things. I was having a conversation with a lady the other day who got arrested and locked up by her friend. She wanted to come and give me a live an interview. Now she reached out to me, or Jaja, they mind my business. She wanted to come and tell her story of how her friend, and then her father calls her and says he was going to disown her if she did it. As you're looking at me, my father says he's going to disown me. He will disown and be tired. I'm not going to answer him. But he get waiting my papa go get. I go begin to fear disown. Because if my father had 3 properties in Banana Island, 2 in Ikoyi, 1 in Lekki, 1 in Maitama, and then he says he's going to cut me out of his will. Wala go deal. You understand what I'm telling you? I go begin to consider, because that means my younger sisters are going to get all these houses, I won't get anything. So sometimes when your parents are rich, it is not an advantage, it's a handicap. Because they're going to dangle like a fish, like a worm on a hook. You see the way that they dangle worm on a hook for fish where they swim inside water. They're going to dangle up. Once you bite them like this, now voila. So they're going to dangle for you. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes when your parents are rich, it's not an advantage, it's a very huge disadvantage because you don't enjoy decision making. Let me tell you something. Decision making is something that is very enjoyable. Most of you, Dangote's children will always work for Dangote. Adenuga's children will always work for Adenuga. Adenuga pikin no fit wake up, at least not maybe in first son, no fit wake up say one day sing. Baba, they go correct you immediately. Imagine Dangote's daughter say, right now, she won the. Even though these things are not, they're not going to be spelt, they're not going to be carved in stone. There's a lot of rigidity, and you can't break out of those kind of families because you also look at, Baba, if they disown me, I will suffer. Me, nobody fit threaten me, we say they go disown me. I no go even answer you. Waiting one time say you go disown me. Say waiting. You'll be all right. We'll all be all right. We'll beg ourselves later. So when we that come from average homes are a bit luckier. You understand? Someone says, yet Otedola's daughter is a DJ. Otedola's daughter is a DJ that has 2 masters and is probably working on her PhD. That DJ na camouflage. How many DJ work she do? Calm down. Don't let that thing gawk you. How many DJ work copy do? Copy wey go do PhD. Why me I no do PhD? No be radio DJ me I used to start my life. They go push you, they go stress you, they go make sure say you get them that thing with the parents they want. You think it is really copy that wanted to go to all that school she's going? Please leave that matter, Joe. Otedola's daughter is a DJ. If she did Nigeria, they play one club to the other. Oh. So let's tell ourselves the truth. Davido is the only case, and look at what he had to go through. Look at what he had to go through to break out. You are mentioning Davido like Davido is the norm. Davido is not the norm. Davido is that one person that stood out, and you don't know what he went through. You know what he went through. It's not easy. And his father is also liberal. Davido's father is actually liberal. Some of these parents are not liberal. They don't go collect them from your hand. They don't go collect them from your hand. When I talk Shino Rambo, when I know see Shino Rambo, Papa they dance. He's different. My papa fit dance like if my papa be governor, he ain't go dance. Even Davido was in prison, harassed by police. He went through his own fair share. So now another thing is you don't have the luxury of decision making. And that is also a problem when you are someone like Charles. They will choose for you and they will dangle that carrot. You will never be king. If you don't listen to us, we will not make you king. Charles will never have married Diana. We think concern him with Diana. Charles will never have married Diana. He had no business with Diana. But because they tell him every day, say, he no go be king, now his son go be king. And he does not want to not be king. So he's making decisions based on the dangling. Like I said, my father does not have anything to dangle for in front of me that if I don't do this. Do you understand? If my father, for instance, had the throne of the Oni of Ife, I'm supposed to be next, and my father will now tell me, no, I will not recommend you, I'll recommend your younger brother. Then I can now say, hey, you understand? So we no get those things, we don't understand it. Those that have it understand the handicap of it. Am I connecting with you guys? So that's another message. Your parents do not have your value system. No matter how much you try to squeeze yourself into them, you are an identity. And unless you are cut out from the same cloth as your parents, there will always be that diversity in ideology. Now, number three, number four. Let us talk about the marriage and the marriage ending. You see, growing up, Charles and Diana and Camilla have revolutionized, if I can put it that way, have changed the status quo of the mindset. The average Nigerian man will tell his wife, if you have kids, stay with your husband. No matter how bad it is, manage it. No man will marry you. Sure, you know, say Camilla get 3 children. We no be Charles speaking. Are you guys aware? And that didn't stop her from becoming queen. So that whole idea that once you are divorced, your life is over. That idea, you see, I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but I know she has more than 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. That whole idea that if you are divorced, no man will want you. If you are divorced, you are nothing. That idea, use broom and sweep it out of your head. Okay, she has 2 kids. Do you know she doesn't have any children for Charles, and she can never give him any children? He's too old. Someone said she's not actual queen, but queen consort. She is queen, no. No be queen consort, not queen, no. So that whole idea that marriage is a pact for life. Marriage is a pact as long as the 2 of you share a vision of a life. If the 2 of you share different visions, why does the marriage need to continue? Come, correct me. Is she the queen or the queen consort? Because now Queen Camilla, me at the head end, they call her. UK people, please. Okay, queen consort because she doesn't become queen if Charles dies, but she is, she has the full status of a queen, but she doesn't become queen after Charles dies. Yes. She's Queen Camilla Sean Leeds. Thank you. She's queen. I think you guys are getting it wrong. Sean is saying she's she's not queen consort. She is queen. She became the queen today. Yes. She's the queen. She is queen. Thank you. Now, I want to ask you a question. And I want us to use our brains now. Do you realize that Camilla left her marriage to follow Charles? Let's forget about the queen argument. Let's have at least that one. We can debate it from here till tomorrow. There's one thing that we cannot debate. Queen Camilla left her marriage to follow Charles, right? Right? She left her husband to follow Charles. Can we reverse time? Can we reverse time? And let's imagine she did not leave her husband. Let us imagine she did not leave her husband. We're dealing with facts now. Fact is, guys, leave the queen argument. And let us focus on one fact. She left her husband, whom she has 2 children for, to follow Charles. Right? Is that a fact I just stated? I want to round off in 5 minutes. Is that a fact I just stated? Whether she loved Charles or she no love Charles, she shall leave her husband, follow Charles. Do we agree on that? Do we all agree on that? That she left her husband to follow Charles? Can we all agree on that? Is there anybody doubting that? Good. Let's reverse time and let us imagine if she had not left her husband, where would she be today? If she had not left her husband, where would Camilla have been today? If she had continued staying in her marriage, forget consort, she will not even be a village headmistress, let alone say she be queen or queen consort. She go dey her ex house, paying bills, getting a job. She'll probably be a commoner. She'll probably watch the ceremony as Charles will be crowned king, maybe as a single man, maybe we don't find another wife, give him. So we also need to look at this. When that pastor said, sometimes your destiny dey inside another marriage. You are married now, but your destiny dey inside another marriage. Am I connecting with you? The queen is the highest title a woman can obtain, even if it is with consort. It is the highest title. Less than 1% of 1% can ever be queen. So many of you are in unhappy marriages. Sometimes it's not that your husband did anything wrong, but you are in a bad place. But you are afraid to break the marriage because of what they told you. Don't forget the Samaritan woman at the well in John chapter 4. She had been through 5 husbands and she was living with a man who was not her husband. And Christ never condemned her. Some of you, I'll tell you the truth, and I'll use my case as a reference point. Now, of course, let's remember what Christ also said in Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. He said, you can only break your marriage because of infidelity. But you see, loneliness can cause infidelity. And if we look at it from a bigger perspective, she was already, quote and unquote, I stand corrected, committing committing infidelity, if I can put it that way, if I can use the word committing, while she was in the marriage. So the marriage was already broken. Our parents, poverty mentality is a very bad thing. Our parents were taught how to manage in you see, when I grew up in Ibadan, they will give you plenty about small soup. Everything's about manage. Meanwhile, you need the soup more than the eba. But because the eba will fill you more and it is cheaper than the soup, they will give you small soup, big eba. Manage it. So let's have this conversation. Sometimes you are in a marriage, your heart is not there anymore. Your calling, your purpose are not there. My former marriage, if I continued in my former marriage, let me tell you what the trajectories would have been. I go don't buy, my ex, or the two of us go don't buy, or one of us go don't day prison, and I will never have fulfilled my purpose in life. Shame me where they live with person where if I criticize Geo for house, the word where I go here, I go nearly mad. Now they say I won't go climb social media, criticize Geo. After a look at my family and looking at what church has done, do you know how many people who in my family either buy from sicknesses they have no business buying from simply because pastor tell us if they go church, they go buy? Say my ex, we respect pastor. Whatever God said, when Pastor Toby came to my live today, if you watched earlier on in the afternoon, and I'm going to read the letter he wrote to me. I'm going to read the letter he wrote to me on the post on his page. I want to read it out to you. He said, a special tribute letter to Daddy Freeze on his birthday today. Hear Kwamwan's opinion also, LOL. In a world where people hardly listen before they judge, attack, or criticize you, Daddy Freeze kept speaking what may have been deemed unconventional, revolutionary, and untraditional. We have listened, we have probed, and we can testify that what you speak is the truth. It is certainly not what people want to hear, but that has always been the case with those who were sent. Your life also shows that the divine is with you. You went through a lot, you conquered, you have a great family now, and you are far from poor. I wish I could tell people, I'm going to jump that part. He said, I wish I could tell people what you bought for yourself for your birthday without anyone's contribution. He put it in bracket there. You also help the poor, you are a giver, and you love nation building, and that's why we love you. In a nation where people have been plagued by the bug of commercial religion, you have proven to be a cure to that plague. It may be slow, but knowing you, I have concluded that you won't give up. Like those who have been before you, like the likes of Martin Luther, the great theologian, you will fight the good fight and come out the victor. Soldier on, Daddy Freeze. Great happy birthday to you. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 5. But protected Noah, a preacher of righteousness, and 7 others. Note, it is for history's sake, because I know history will be kind to those who stand out living the truth. That I put on record my thoughts about one of them. This is what Pastor Toby Adegboyega said about me. And I want to ask you, just as Queen Camilla would never have become queen if she stayed in her previous marriage, I would never have become the leader of the free nation if I stayed in my previous marriage. Of course, there's a balance to it. If you're in a good place, don't break your marriage because you think there's hope outside somewhere. But when you are in a bad place, and this must be put on record, when you are in a bad place, leave as soon as you can. If Camilla had stayed, she would never have become queen. I had to stand up. Camilla, right now, is the next king's stepmother or step grandmother. Even if Charles passes on and she remains alive, she will be there, whoever the next king is going to be. She will be there in a place of honor. Someone said, living no easy. You are right. If she had thought about that, she'll be working in McD, Walmart, Tesco right now. She'll be paying taxes. Instead of paying taxes, Camilla is eating taxes. You are a taxpayer. She is a tax eater. She could have shared your destiny if she had stayed. There's a message to some women out there. Now, some of you are going to come out of a bad marriage and jump into fire, from frying pan to fire. But some of you are going to leave a bad place and move to a position that, do you want to tell me that God does not have a hand in Camilla becoming queen? I thought the Bible is all about people's destinies. The stories of the Bible, how Paul was persecuting Christ and then he became one of the greatest apostles, or how David was a shepherd boy. You see, you need to be able to understand when God is speaking to you. If not, you will jump when you are not supposed to jump, or you will stay when you are not supposed to stay. I might not have all the money in the world, but I have a purpose. If I had stayed in my previous marriage, maybe I might have had more money, which I doubt, but I will have no purpose, because my purpose is tied to the decision to move. Because you can't run the free nation unless you have a woman like these buds by your side to guide me when I overdo, to encourage me when I underdo, and to stand with me. My ex used to moan and groan to the point where my children don't speak to me simply because she blew everything out of proportion. Meanwhile, the children, the first person to come and hug me and give me a peck on my cheek for my birthday was my youngest daughter. Are they not reading the same? Are they not on social media? Are they not seeing the same articles? Why don't my first kids want to have anything to do with me? Because it's what their mother told them. It's what their mother taught them. And the Lord saw what I needed to do and realized that a mother with that mentality cannot be my wife. Go and read what Pastor Toby wrote. To take up that burden and stand against organized religion. God's hand has to be in it. And God cannot use you if you are your own obstacle. Someone said, so when do we bring God in? I'm going to teach you a message tomorrow. Hearing from God. How to hear from God. That's my message for the church tomorrow. How to hear from God. I'm still going to talk a little bit about Camilla. I'm going to talk. It's going to be more motivational and conversational than scriptural. Because I need to teach you how to hear from God. Okay? So God bless you all. Someone said, oh, DF is what I've been praying for recently. Someone says, DF, I respect you, but your ex-wife will also have a story to tell. Of course. But whatever story she tells will show that we are not compatible. She also has her purpose. It is not my purpose. I don't share a purpose with her. That's the message. I'm not saying she won't be a great wife to whoever she's married to or she will get married to. I'm not saying that. I'm saying she was never going to be my partner in this struggle. Someone said, what if Camilla never became queen? We cannot work with an assumption that doesn't happen because she's already queen. You could have said this yesterday, but as long as she was crowned queen today, even if she buy tomorrow, she will buy as queen. Of course, there's also the possibility that maybe she never would eventually get to queen. You're right. But she took a stand like I did. And I was able to create something out of nothing. You can sit down there all day and moan and groan about what can be or what will not be. Until you take the step, you will never know. But take a guided step. If I had stayed in my marriage, I would have fought against God. Because God did everything to get me out of that place. He sent messages that I did not understand. He spoke words that I could not interpret. He used force. But you know what? Sometimes humans are stubborn. And they resist even the biggest force of God. God is not going to automatically do something. He wants you to take that decision because you have the gift of decision making, free will. If he makes the decision for you, then he has robbed you of free will. But he will guide you, he will push you, he will bend you to get what he wants. He sees it in you. Like I've said it, there is no way my ex could have followed me on this journey. I know her mindset. She would never have done it. She saw me as a radio presenter, and I remember what she used to tell me: hold gigs for radio presenters. Let them know you are your senior. There was a time she gave me advice, said, gather all the radio. You know what Tazebos told me? Tazebos said, the first thing she said, the way I'm looking at you, you are too big for this radio. I swear to God. Left to me alone, I'll still be on the radio today. Tazebos now carry me come out. She said, you are big. Subtly, you are too big, too gifted for this radio. Timaya said something the other day. He said he looked at his future and the woman he was dating, he didn't see her there. And I picked up on that. When I was with my ex, if I could see this future, I would never have seen her there. So that's my message to you guys. And it's a very powerful message. And it is my life testimony. And it is Camilla's testimony. Someone said, what if it wasn't God's purpose for her life? Absolutely. But there's no confusion. It's God's purpose for my life. He wanted me to be there. He wanted me to take that step. If he didn't want her to take it with me, he will remove her from my life. Because he probably was talking to her and trying to get her in sync. But you see, at the same time, I was also doing things that were making the marriage worse. And she was also doing things that were making the marriage worse. So it had gotten to a head. So that's it. Thank you all so much. Someone says, women no go leave your partner or boyfriend because it is struggle, because one bends guy for lucky. Let me tell you something. taste buds did not follow me because I had money. And my ex did not leave me because I didn't have money. Money is not what we are talking about. We are talking about purpose. And if you tie purpose to money, you are poor and suffer from poverty of ambition. If you tie purpose to money, purpose has nothing to do with money. You can be God's vessel and not have 50 kobo. Go and ask Elijah them. Go and ask Paul. Take care. God bless. Someone says, don't leave the frying pan for the fire, but also don't stay in the frying pan when you can be in the fridge chilling. Think about it. Think about it. Take care. And God, if it's God's purpose for you to stay and you leave, you'll be in trouble. And if it's God's purpose for you to leave and you stay, you'll be in trouble. Look at Camilla's life. God is speaking to somebody. There is a message there. Take care and God bless.